He was talking to Stan, too. He's not on right now.
They're not nearly as good as they were last year, are they?
Volley?
What's up? Right up the stairs and right.
Less than 5 points. We're hoping to see another close game. Hopefully that the Volley Dogs can pull off a victory here against Van Buren. Close game. The Van Buren pointers looking very strong so far with senior Alex Dupree, number 2, and Grace Doddle, the junior, both very strong in volleyball. We're going to see how this game goes in just a couple seconds here with the national anthem to start us off. I'm hoping to see a nice close game between the two teams, and we're going to get this started just after the starting lineups are announced. So both teams are, Fayetteville's putting up their warm-up equipment. It's going to be a good game, hopefully a close one. Once again, both teams looked very strong in the previous games. Fayetteville, you know, we had players like Jaden Weller who came out in the second half of the set, pretty strong. We had Laney Daniels who almost played for every 25-minute or every set with no breaks, and a freshman, Avery Redfern, who was super strong, especially for a freshman, and started every set in the last game. So we have the players lining up for their starting lineups here. We're going to get started in just a little bit. We have, once again, just look out for Laney Daniels, the libero, who performed super strongly. And we're here lining up for the national anthems.
Watching warm-ups, both teams looked really strong, really loose. It's probably going to be a really good game.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fayetteville, Arkansas and Fayetteville High School for this afternoon's volleyball action as the Van Buren Pointers take on your Fayetteville Volley Dogs. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce the starting lineups. Introducing first for Van Buren, number 7, Mikhail Porter. Number 5, Grace Doolittle. Number 18, Madeline Doolittle. Number 16, Zoe Morrison. Number 2, Alex Dupree. Number 18, Bailey Brooks. And the libero, 00, Brooke Moore. Van Buren is coached by Mr. Brent Reed. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get on the feet and make some noise for your Fayetteville Volley Dogs. Number 13, Grayson Spresser. The captain, number 6, Carly Andrew. Number 4, Ariana Walter. Number 2, Amelia Watley. Number 19, Ariel Higginbotham. bottom. Number 21, Avery Redford. And the libero, number 10, Lainey Daniels. Fayetteville is coached by Jessica Phelan. Assistant coaches Amanda Williford, Sarah Kincaid, Keely Luig, and Whitney Briner. Now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to please rise. Direct your attention to the east end of the arena where your nation colors fly high for the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming. And the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Ladies and gentlemen, I got 3 words for you. Let's play volleyball!
Three of the starters running through their lines. The game's about to start as the benches will take their seats. Student section getting wild there. Of course, there's a group huddle just before the game. I'm hoping to see the starters really show up at the beginning, and hopefully the Volley Dogs will get an early lead. But then again, Van Buren was looking so strong last game. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it. Van Buren was super consistent, so it'll be interesting to see if the Volley Dogs will keep up their defensive play style as they did last game, or will try a bit more aggressive. What do you think?
Strong start would really help the Volley Dogs in this game. I feel like if they can get the home crowd into it and the consistency start at the beginning, I mean, it'll help them greatly throughout the match.
That's right. Momentum is a huge thing in volleyball. It'll be super interesting. The Volley Dogs had trouble getting their momentum back once they lost it in sets last game. Van Buren played super consistently though, and I actually talked with one of the Volley Dogs this morning. She knew that Van Buren played super consistent, so she knew she had to be on top of her game, and she was ready to play. Here we have number 13, Grayson Spencer, serving for Fayetteville. It's a good serve over. You know, as we watch, just whoever gets this first point will be huge for the start of the game. It's a big pass up, just hit over there.
Good ball movement by both teams.
Through the double block, it's a point for Van Buren. And we saw that, I mean, Van Buren was able to pierce through that defensive play style really fast there, but it might just be a lucky thing. They might get their consistency down. We saw Fayetteville actually getting consistent near the end of the game. They're struggling just a little bit at the beginning. So we might see that here. The pass up there. Just, miscommunication there. The spike goes into the net. That's a hitting error. They had 33 in their last game. So again, Fayetteville did like to play the defensive play style because they weren't super strong in the aggressive. The pass up, set to the outside, a big slam.
Good set.
Libero could not get there. It's a really good communication. You can see they've worked on their offense a lot more than they had before the first game. I don't think Van Buren was ready for that. Score is now 1-2. Van Buren. We're gonna have number 6, Carly Urna. Good serve over. There's the pass up to the middle. It's through the double block into number 6, on Fayetteville, which is, again, Carly Unra. Number 5 on Van Buren, Gracie Doolittle, a junior, will be serving for Van Buren. It's a good hit over. Pass up to the middle, set to the outside, going for a big slam over. The libero hit outside, and that'll be a point for Fayetteville.
It went off the basketball goal here at Fayetteville.
Score is now 2-3 Van Buren. Seems that they're going back and forth in points-wise. We'll see if Volley Dogs can actually gain some momentum here. It's a pass up to the outside, set to the middle. A good slam, but out. That's another point for the Volley Dogs. No, it was a point for Van Buren's. It was in. That looked out from here. So the score is now 2-4 Van Buren. Number 8, Madeline Doolittle, will be serving. She's also a junior.
She is one of the Doolittle twins that are playing for this Van Buren team. You don't really see twins that often.
Both did play really well in their last game. Libero Lainey Daniels with Avery Redfern, they had such good teamwork in their last game, and they had it again. They were able to just communicate so well without even speaking, it looked like. And I mean, you saw that right there. 3-4 Van Buren now. Fayetteville serving number 3, Jaden Weller. She started in the second half of their last game.
It's a good serve.
It's a nice, strong serve. Spiked over. Lainey Daniels saves that one. Hit to the outside. A big spike,
good spike.
Just out. That'll be a point for Van Buren. You know, we saw in their last game, Fayetteville, I mean, it really mattered who got 7 points first. And that almost depended on who won the set in their last game. And we might see that again today. Van Buren at 5 points already. Fayetteville at 3. We saw a lot of times the score being 7-3. But Fayetteville not going to let that happen. That's another point for the Volley Dogs. 4-5 now.
Substitutions coming in. Number 19.
Looks like it's not on our roster.
Number 6.
Carly Unra. The strong serve over, pass up to the middle, just tapped over there. Number 13 saving that one. A big spike over.
Strong spike.
Couldn't save it. Number 16, Zoe Morrison, could not get it there. It's another point for Fayetteville. They've tied it up 5-5 now. Number 19 serving. Oh, Justin in the net. It's a point for Van Buren. 5-6. Van Buren now. You know, Van Buren in their last game was so strong in being consistent in their points and defense, and all, like, it was amazing to watch. And Fayetteville, they had a really strong defensive play style, and that was how they scored most of their points, was their defense. Their offense was struggling a bit, but we've already seen that they've improved so far. Van Buren scored another point there. 5-7 now. We'll see if the curse of 7 comes true later in this set. It's a pass up, set in the middle, to the inside. Avery Redfern going for the spike. Set to that outside again, saving it after save. We saw the Volley Dogs win most of these rallies in the long run, and just like that, Volley Dogs scores another point. 6-7 now, Van Buren. What did you think about that?
It looked like good communication on Fayetteville's side. Again, a little bit of a miscue by number 8, Madeline Doolittle. One of the Doolittle twins knocked it off of the side of her foot, or hand, excuse me.
Number 5 served there. Claire Cooper, she also performed strong in her last game. Van Buren will score that point. Van Buren seems to be hyped for every point, which was the Volley Dogs last game, even when they're losing or winning. You know, momentum is huge, and if Van Buren doesn't even need momentum to score this many points, it's got to be impressive. Scores now 6-8, Van Buren. There's the pass up by Lainey Daniels. Just hit over, that's a free ball. Set to the outside. Into the double block. Set to the outside there. Spike just tipped over the net. That's a point for Van Buren. Score is now 6-9.
Those are unlucky plays like that. You don't want to see those happen too much. Might come back to hurt the Volley Dogs.
We'll see Van Buren, the libero, number 0, Ashley Reeves, playing here. Good serve over. Is the pass up. Lainey Daniels performing strong once again. Seems like their communication has performed a lot well. playing a lot better. Through the double block there, number 15, Grayson Spresser could not save that one that time. Is a minute timeout called by the Volley Dogs. Score is now 6-10. Now, if you're the Fayetteville coach, what do you think? What do you got to tell your team to get back in this?
The message here is simple. I mean, you're only down 4 points right now. You're playing good. You've had a couple miscues. You just got to capitalize on advantages that the Van Buren team gives. I've seen a couple missed passes on Van Buren's side, and I feel like if Fayetteville can execute a couple spikes, they'll get right back in this game.
Now, if you're Van Buren's coach, what do you tell your team to keep this lead?
Keep up the consistency and the intensity. They're really excited to be out here. I mean, Fayetteville is obviously a target every year, being 3-time state champions right now. I mean, it's always exciting coming here and play Fayetteville, and if you keep up this intensity, they're going to take down the Volley Dogs.
And we have seen Fayetteville's team has grown since their last game. Last game they only had up to 12 players. Now they have over 15, which is impressive that they've made that adjustment, but it just makes this team even younger, having only 2 seniors, 2 to 3 seniors. Yeah. And you got to wonder, how can you rotate them so they're not all exhausted so they can help this young team out?
You're exactly right. Leadership is key in young teams like this, and if you can keep them healthy, your leadership and seniors, it's going to be a good year.
We see number 4, Ariana Walter, making 2 blocks there, but still giving Van Buren the point. I was really well played defensively. Van Buren was just able to stick through and play just aggressive enough that they got through one of those blocks eventually. Score is now 6-11. You gotta wonder if Fayetteville's timeout is gonna pull off in the long run. Just tapped over there. Number 2, Alex Dupree was ready for that one though. Number 4, Ariana Walter was able to block it again. It's a point for the Volley Dogs. 7-11 now, Van Buren winning. We're gonna see here number 13, Grayson Spresser, pass up there. Gives
strong
serve over. Oh, into the net. It's a hitting error for Van Buren. It's another point for the Volley Dogs. You know, what we saw last game is Fayetteville would hang in on the long volleys and they would wait for the enemy team to make a mistake. What do you think we'll see here today?
I think that if they can keep rallies going, they're going to be successful. I feel like they're
strong spikes there by number 4, Ariana Walter.
It was a good hit.
Strong there.
Van Buren's strategy looks like they're playing a little bit more in the front court this game. They're not leaving the backcourt for much. They're leaving the backcourt quite a bit. I'm going to see if they keep continuing to do that throughout the sets today.
A good save by Jaden Weller there. Number 6 hitting it over just barely. That's out. Another point for the Volley Dogs. We see that their timeout has really helped them here. They've scored 4 points to Van Buren's 1. You got to wonder, what does Van Buren's coach got to tell the team next time they get together?
Really, they've let a couple points go.
A missed serve there by number 13.
I've seen Grace Doolittle, number 5, a junior. She's struggled with some of the spikes that have been sent back to her. Let's see if she can continue to capitalize on that.
Ooh, Ariana Walter going for the spike, barely sacrificing that. Van Buren fans are not happy calling that a double hit, but Van Buren will get the point anyways. No, volleyball. Volley Dogs will. 11-12 now. Volley Dogs are about to get the volleyballs have caught up. It's a 1-point game now, and it's been a 5-point game for most of this game, for most of the set.
Absolutely. Strong serve here will help.
Ooh, just over, but out. It's a point from Van Buren. 13-11 now. You gotta wonder, will that kill your momentum if you're Fayetteville, or are you gonna keep pushing through that one little error?
Van Buren's got a strong server coming up, Grace Doolittle.
Grace Doolittle, good serve there. Just saved by number 13. It looks like a little bit of a miscommission. Lainey Daniels again pulling in strong for her team there. The double block gets it. Ariana Walter will get the point there. She is a junior. She's 6'1", so you expect her to be playing on that front. Now the freshman Avery Redfern's out, standing at 5'10", which is tall for a freshman. You got to wonder if she's going to play up front with number 4, Ariana Walter, or she'll play around the middle. Out, another missed serve. That's got to be frustrating. Those 2 serves you had, you misserved both of them. 12-14 now.
That's now 4 points in the game total that Fayetteville has given away on serves.
Here's a good serve. Number 8, Madeline Doolittle. The Doolittles seem to be serving a lot. Van Buren seems to have their own little cheers every time they score a point. That's 4 points in a, or that's, yeah, 3 points in a row now for Van Buren. 15-12 now. What do you do if you're Fayetteville?
You got to calm down. Van Buren looks very relaxed. They're laughing out on the court. Fayetteville is very tense. I need to see them calm down a little bit if they're going to succeed.
Number 8 going for a spike there. Saved by Van Buren's number 8. Hit over, just over the double block. Set to the inside. They'll give the point to Van Buren. 16-12 now. You saw just a little bit of miscommunication in ball placement, which gave Van Buren the point there. What are you going to do if you're Fayetteville?
I need to see more out of Lainey Daniels. I think that Van Buren's done a great job of steering away from her, but if you want to succeed, you need to get the ball into her hands, let her pass a couple up to your setters who have actually been doing quite a good job.
Which we just saw Van Buren with their first miss serve. Jaden Weller getting the serve they needed there, strong serve, which messed up. Which is good ball placement, miscommunication from Van Buren. That's a point that the Volley Dogs needed. 14-16 now. Now, if you're Fayetteville, are you going to keep Jaden Weller serving? Since she's been the successful server so far, you're going to give her a break soon. It's another strong serve out of Jaden Weller.
Absolutely. Let her finish out this set.
Jaden Weller also setting that up to the middle. A strong spike in the middle there.
Spike.
Passed up to the middle again. Just hit over outside, though. That's 3 points in a row for the Volley Dogs, 15-16.
That was a big point right there.
It's timeout for Van Buren. So if you're Van Buren, Volley Dogs have caught up in you from a 5-11 lead. What do you tell your team?
Well, we've seen this most of the game. Fayetteville's been dropping a couple sets, and then they push again. I say you go back out there with the same intensity you've had. Maybe shuffle up the lineup a little bit, give some girls some breaks, but I wouldn't be too worried as Van Buren because we've seen this already twice in this set. I mean, you'd like to see Fayetteville turn it around right here and take a little lead, but I'm excited to see what happens.
All right, now if you're Fayetteville's coach, they just got down the third timeout. What do you tell? What did you tell your team?
Just keep up the intensity. You need to have high intensity. You've got the home crowd. If you can keep that up, you're going to succeed in this set.
All right, yeah, we have Jaden Weller serving again. Lainey Daniels playing the middle. They got 3 up front at the net. You might see a ton of blocks.
Now, serving number 68, Buren.
Is your camera fixed?
What?
Is your camera fixed?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, cool.
No.
Now, here number 2, Alex Buren. Grade number 7, Michaela Porter. Serving number 6, Carly Underwood. Serving number 5, Grace Doolittle. Checking in, number 21, Avery Redfern. Back to serve, number 10, Lainey Daniels. One, Fayetteville.
Had a couple miscues in communication up on the front line, and that really hurt them in the long run. I'd say that Van Buren coming back this set has a lot of momentum, but Fayetteville's looked really good, and still anybody's game right now.
Yeah, we saw Van Buren get another point after it was going out, but Lainey Daniels did not see it. She went for the save. It's another point for Van Buren, just not getting it over the net there. 3-3 now in the second set. Now the Volley Dogs started with the lead here, and Van Buren has come back 3-0. There's a strong serve, hit into the net. Saved, though, by number 13. Another hit over. This is their third hit. That's a strong spike.
By Rosanna.
Oh, just tipped over the net there. Saved by number 7 on Van Buren. A strong spike over. Number 6 saving that one. A strong volley again. We see Fayetteville come on top of these all the time, and that's another one that they have. They come on top of 80% of these, and that just shows their skill in the long run right there. What did you think about that volley?
I thought it was all Fayetteville from the beginning. I felt like Van Buren was on their back heels, but you know, it's only 1 point in the set. I'm excited to see how the rest of it turns out. Another point for Van Buren there. It seems like Carly Unra, number 6, struggled to battle off a strong spike from number 5, Grace Doolittle. Yeah,
we saw there such a strong hit. It's almost impossible to get that up without hurting yourself there. Number 3, Jaden Weller setting it up in the middle. Avery Redfern gets the spike there.
Rosanna,
by
good
number
block.
8. Rosanna Hicks getting that. Really well played there by Fayetteville. You can see their synergy without even communicating. Avery Redfern, the freshman, showing that even at 5'10", she can get up above that net and spike down hard.
She's shown some serious athleticism today, and I'm excited to see what she can do for Fayetteville for the coming years.
And number 20, Sadie Thompson there served it. Number 20, Sadie Thompson saving that again. Number 6,
Carly Unra, strong hit.
There's another point for Fayetteville. just hit out. 6-4 now, Fayetteville. Now, we've seen Fayetteville be consistent so far in the second set. What did you think that their coach told them after the first set?
I felt like they struggled a little bit up at the front. They were getting blocked on, and they weren't recovering from it. I feel like they've taken a more of aggressive approach, and that's helped them so far.
We saw there a good save by number 20, hit to the outside by number 13, and it just looked like it was just far enough out that they couldn't save it. It was a good attempt, though. 6-5 Volleydogs. We're going to see here that number 2,
Alex Dupree the
is
senior.
serving.
Yep.
One of their few seniors, hit up by Lainey Daniels, just hit over there. The libero on Van Buren saving that one. Number 3, Jaden Weller, hitting it to number 20. A strong spike by number 13, just saved by number 2 again. A good hit into the block
very
of Avery Redfern, showing that even though as a freshman, she can again get up to that net high.
Coach Phelan giving Avery a break, sitting in number 5, senior Claire Cooper. Claire will start off serving right now.
Claire Cooper performed super strong in their last match, along with Avery Redfern and Lainey Daniels. They have so much synergy, even though the missed serve there, not a strong start. Jaden Weller subbing, or Lainey Daniels subbing in for Jaden Weller. Number 18, Bailey Brooks, the junior, serving for Van Buren. 7-6 now. Van Buren's made a tiny bit of a comeback. A strong serve over. Set to the inside. A strong, just tapped in the double block. Lainey goes for the save, but they can't get it. Hit outside by Fayetteville. Another hitting error. We've seen that's what they struggle most with here. Last game they had 33 hitting errors, which is a lot. And this game it seems that they're struggling less, but it's still very often that they're hitting it just out on their own side or hitting it into the net. What do you think if you're coach? What can you do to fix that?
I think if I'm Coach Phelan right now, I'm thinking that even though we have probably had less mishits and stuff, we're still struggling because this is a very good Van Buren team, and if we're going to win a couple sets here and take this match, we need to step up the intensity and play to their level.
We've seen Van Buren's taking the lead now, 8-7 Van Buren. Now the Volleydogs have kept with them so far, 7-8. The Volleydogs did make the 7, and we saw that Van Buren made it to 7 last time, and they did win the set. So let's see if this theory that I've made up is true. Hit outside by Fayetteville, 9-7 now Van Buren.
Nope, that point goes to Fayetteville as one of Van Buren's front hitters hit the net.
Really? That was a close call. Good call by the referees. We definitely did not see that.
Didn't see it at all, yeah.
Now we see number 13, Grayson Spresser, serving for Fayetteville. A strong serve over, hits to number 2. A strong spike to the outside. Number 13 again saving that one. Number 2 just hitting it over there. Number 7 taps it into the net. Could not save it. Ariana Walter went for it. Again, a strong, hard dive into the wood there.
She might be a little shaken up after that one. Her right arm seems to be bothering her right now.
Lainey Dupree barely getting a break, subbing in for number 5, Claire Cooper, one of their few seniors on the team. Here's a serve by number 7, McKelly Porter. A strong hit, barely over the net there. Saved by number 2, Alex Dupree.
Another point for Fayetteville.
They hit it more. They hit it 4 times there, which will give Fayetteville the point. 9-9. 9-9. It's tied now. Volleydogs have just scored 2 points in a row now. What do you think Volleydogs are doing right now?
They're definitely dipping back more into their bench right now. We see Rosanna Hicks come back, number 8 for Fayetteville. She's played a strong game, and I think she's just warming up. I think that they're going to be a little bit more focused on spikes this next coming points.
So 10-10, Volleydogs scoring another point. Both points there were hits out or serving errors. We have Lainey Daniels serving for Fayetteville. She served a lot last game, performed super strong on the offensive and defensive side, which especially as a libero, a defensive specialist, you expect to only see really defense out of her. Now we do see the missed serve from her, giving the point to Van Buren, but that's one of the few she's had this season.
I agree. They need to incorporate Lainey Daniels a little bit more into the offense. I feel like that she's being a little bit misused right now, even though she is such a great defender.
Fayetteville communicating so well, a big point for them, tying it up again. They're just going back and forth in the points so far here. Now, Van Buren's got to be frustrated because they were 5 points ahead at this point in the game last time.
Absolutely. Much closer set. Again, anybody can take this right here.
Jaden Weller with the serve there. Number 5. Number 7 actually passes it to the outside. Lainey Daniels again proving that's why she's the defensive specialist on the team. Number 8,
Rosanna Hicks.
Yes. With a good spike to the outside. 12-11 Volley Dogs. They've taken the lead for the first time in 6 points here. So this is big. They've scored 3 points in a row. Jaden Weller back to serve. Seems that Jaden Weller's found a spot in the team as the server mainly. Another good serve, ball placement key. Jaden Weller's she's very accurate with the serve, making Van Buren hit it out 13-11. If Volley Dogs run away with a lead up to 5 points, what do you think is going to happen?
I think with the home crowd, it's going to be tough for Van Buren to come back. They look a little gassed right now. I haven't seen much substitution on their side. Jaden Weller is playing really well right now, and I'm excited to see how much of a better game she has as she sets up another ace. Again, 14-11 for the Volley Dogs right now.
Jaden Weller obviously proving why she is on this team, and she's played super well so far. She's one of the few seniors on the team. They forced a timeout out of Van Buren here, 14-11. If you're Van Buren, what are you telling your team?
You just need to calm down. This breather is very important to them, I feel like. They're not getting as much spikes down on the Fayetteville side, and I think that's because Fayetteville's taking a much more aggressive approach. We've seen slower, quicker sets right now, but I feel like if you're Van Buren, you need to slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, Van Buren with a team of only 15 players, so you got to wonder if they're saving their subs for the second half of this game, or if they're going to sub a little bit now and have almost all of their players stayed warm up and loose. Because we haven't seen subs from Van Buren in a while, and Volley Dogs have seemed to be taken away with subbing very well.
I agree. Now, I disagree with the Van Buren strategy if this is what they are doing to keep their subs and wait for the second half, because if you've got your starters out there during the end of the game, you're going to have a much better chance to win if they're your better players.
We saw another point for Volley Dogs, a 4-point lead now, 15-11. Another serve from Jaden Weller. Saved by number 6, Avery Redfern with the hit there, tapped over by Ariana Hicks. Another save. It seems that Van Buren just can't get any momentum on them. Another hit out, but it'll go to Van Buren because Fayetteville tried to block it. Just hit so hard that it bounces off their arms outside.
Somebody that we haven't talked about that much is number 00, Ashley Reeves, who's a senior for Van Buren. She's played an extremely good game. I don't think she's missed that many hits on the defensive side of the ball, and she's serving really well. Here's a hit from Van Buren. Up in the air, number 3, Jaden Weller hits it. Back to Van Buren's side.
We see Jaden Weller, Avery Redfern. Avery Redfern's just kind of blended in here where you can't even tell she's a freshman. She's playing so well. She's kind of blended in with the seniors. The seniors obviously are able to play super well with her. You see her in the supporting side, not mostly in the aggressive side of things, but even when she's playing aggressive, they get the job done. 16-12 now, still a 4-point lead for the Volley Dogs. Now, they've kept this lead up so far. What do you think is going to happen? Van Buren barely saves it there, though.
It was a great save by number 2, Alex Dupree, the senior, but just not enough as Fayetteville gains another point, 17-2.
12.
17-12, you're absolutely right.
So
that would be a blowout if
Van
it was
Buren's
17-2.
coach, you're down 5 points, and Fayetteville's getting close to that 25 points they need to win the set. What do you say to your team the next time you get to talk to them?
If I'm Van Buren, you just calm down a little bit. Again, they're gassed. I don't like if they're not subbing as much, but again, that's their strategy, and Fayetteville seems to have all the momentum as they get another point here.
Well, it seems that Van Buren only has 3 seniors on their team, so maybe they're not comfortable with the 5 sophomores they have to play them yet. They have a lot of juniors that they probably could play, but Van Buren, again, such a small team, so you got to wonder if they're not able to make the subs as much as Fayetteville has, because Fayetteville's grown a lot since that first game.
Absolutely. Fayetteville's obviously a bigger city than Van Buren. They're going to have much more talent from younger teams. And it's showing right now that the sophomores are having an effect on the game as Van Buren's are struggling and Fayetteville's are thriving.
It's 19-13 now. We saw the serve barely hit out, hitting the pole on the net there. We'll have Fayetteville number 5, Claire Cooper, serving it, one of their few seniors they have on the team. Back again to Claire Cooper. Jaden Weller hitting it to the middle. A strong spike over.
Carly Unra, she's really played well today.
Number 5 on Van Buren into the double block. Another point for Fayetteville. They are going wild. 7-point lead here, 20-13. The student section going wild. The parents and the fans are going wild. You gotta wonder, Van Buren calls a timeout, their last timeout of the set. What are you telling your team here?
I think it's a really smart timeout by Van Buren. I feel like that they need to shift a little bit of momentum, take the fans out of it, and if they can put in some people that are really fresh and having a good game right now, I feel like they have a chance to come back, but Fayetteville's looked really well through this second set, and I'm a little worried that it's going to be too much for Van Buren to come back from.
So we saw Fayetteville, they really need to win this game. They need this set. They lost their last game to Bentonville West. It was a close one, but they did lose it. So if you lose 2 in a row in this season, what happens to your momentum throughout the season?
It's just a downer. You go to school, not having as good of days. When you win, it's contagious, but when you lose, it's also contagious, and it affects all parts of your lives. And so to get a win here against a really good Van Buren team would be huge for the Volley Dogs.
We saw Claire Cooper serving again, a strong serve, and number 13, Grayson Spresser, getting the block there. Only at 5'7", but still is able to get above that net and block it, playing the front lines as one of the shorter players. Another serve from Claire Cooper there, hit just inside.
Beautiful serve,
barely.
absolutely.
It was so close, Van Buren didn't even want to touch it just in case it went out. It's another point for the Volley Dogs, 22-13 here. You gotta wonder, do you think Van Buren can make this comeback?
I believe they can. They just have to play a little better defense. I feel like Fayetteville's been really aggressive this set.
So
Claire Cooper hitting one out right there as it becomes 22-14. Everything's pointing in Fayetteville's favor, but let's see if Van Buren can capitalize on that mistake.
See, Van Buren's been trying to play aggressive into Fayetteville's aggressive play style, and you gotta wonder, Fayetteville played defensive last week against Bentonville West, and it ended up winning them 2 sets there. So you gotta wonder if Van Buren's gonna keep playing aggressive into Fayetteville while they have this big lead, and Van Buren making just these tiny mistakes that are costing them points, especially when Fayetteville needs 2 points to win it. We saw a little miscommunication there by Fayetteville, but they kept it alive. Just over the block.
Good hit right there from one of the Doolittle sisters, number 8, Madeline Doolittle. She's really played well up front. We haven't seen much from her in this second set, but again, she's dangerous up there.
We have number 7, McKaylee Porter, serving it a lot for Van Buren, but we have these consistent Fayetteville players who haven't made subs recently because their play style is working so well right now. There's not really a point to. Van Buren, though, they are looking gassed. They've made some subs, but we still have number 7 and number 0 who have been in almost the entire second set. We can't even question number 00, Ashley Reeves, the libero, hasn't been subbed out in both sets, so she's played almost 30 minutes of game time without getting a break. You've got to wonder if that's what's taking a toll on this Van Buren team, even though they've scored 3 points in a row here.
I'd say it's affecting some of their players. Now, Ashley Reeves still looks really solid out there. I believe that she is actually Coach Reeves' daughter, and this is her senior year, so this is a big game for her in their route to a state title.
Fayetteville gets a strong point there that they needed to stop Van Buren's momentum. 24-17. There's another sub for Fayetteville, even though they only need 1 point to win this set. You've got to wonder, is it for break or just to make sure they solidify this win in the set?
It's important that you end this quickly if you're Fayetteville. You don't want to give any more momentum to Van Buren. They're a dangerous team, and as Van Buren gets a point there, they are still far away, but a little closer than they were a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, we have seen Van Buren slowly making a comeback, but this is not the time for being slow. Volley Dogs need 1 point to win the set. Van Buren only at 18. Now they've shortened the lead from 9 to 6, but you gotta wonder. There it is. Volleydogs win the set.
Strong spike by number 4, Ariana Walters. She has played wonderful this second set, and looks like we're tied here at 1-1.
So that was great play. You've seen that Fayetteville has really rested into this play style where they can balance aggressive and defensive really well. Now, if you're Van Buren's coach, you lost big time there. You can't allow that to happen again. Fayetteville's already got a ton of momentum. So what are you going to do to solidify this third set that you really need if you're going to win this game?
This third set's really important to Van Buren. I think it's important that they put a little bit more pressure on Fayetteville from the get-go. Something that really helped Van Buren in the first set was they ended up starting off with the strong serves, and 5 points up early in, 7-2 in the first set. That was big for them, and that just didn't happen in the second set. And if it can for Van Buren, that'll work out, but I don't see it happening as Fayetteville's playing really well right now.
We have the Fayetteville. If you're Fayetteville, you got to keep this momentum, because the third set is one of the most important sets in the game. So if you're going to win this set, what are you going to tell your team?
This set's really important to Fayetteville as well as Van Buren. If you're Fayetteville, you just got to keep up the intensity. Their aggressive play style, focused around offense, has really worked for them. A couple juniors have really just put up some great spikes, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the set goes, the rest of the match goes.
We also got to talk about the freshman, Avery Redfern, being the only freshman on both of these teams that are starting for varsity. I mean, Van Buren doesn't even have a freshman on their team, and Fayetteville only has one, so it's got to prove the skill that Avery Redfern has to start on this varsity team and play so often. So what do you think of Avery Redfern's performance so far?
Absolutely. Like you said, she's really blended well with the team. She's not super of an aggressive person, not a lot of spikes down, but her defense and her pass setting has been really helpful to the rest of the team. She's out there right now smiling with some of her teammates. I'm just excited to see what she can do for the next couple of years for Fayetteville.
You can definitely tell she's already morphing into a team leader, even only if this is her second game playing with the team. I mean, we have 30 seconds till we go into this third set. Avery Redfern is starting along with Lainey Daniels. We see number 13, Grayson Spresser, playing, as well as number 2, Amelia Watley. These are some of these, and Ariana Walters, sorry. I mean, this is the strong starters we're talking about. And again, Avery Redfern as a freshman starting is amazing, as well as just proves that this Fayetteville's team diversity. But this team has performed so well as just a group, as these starters. You got to wonder how well are they going to play together as the season goes on.
Starting off strong, Van Buren miscue gives Fayetteville the first point of the set.
Now, Volleydogs, again, they started last set with the first point, and they won that set. Momentum is key here in this game. Now, we have number 13, Grayson Spresser, playing for serving for the Volleydogs, sorry. Number 2, Amelia Watley getting the spike. Another point for Fayetteville, 2-0 here. Now, if you're Van Buren, you cannot let Fayetteville get this big of a lead so early. What are you going to what does your team do if you're number 00?
You gotta start playing a little offense. Fayetteville served this whole set, and there you go, another point for Fayetteville. Van Buren just isn't playing the same way they were in the first set, and it's affected them.
You gotta wonder if it's because of the lack of subs, or if their just synergy is worn out as Fayetteville's gained momentum. We have that a strong spike hit out though. You gotta wonder, this Van Buren team has been struggling lately. You gotta wonder, can number Ashley Reeves, their libero, talk them in, because they're almost like the coach on the field. What can you tell your team to get back into this as the Volleydogs have a 4-0 lead on you?
Absolutely. I'd say that you just need to keep fighting. Just caught a ball right there for the referees. That was actually kind of fun. Anyways, Van Buren really needs to focus up on getting a couple points back as they're down 5-0 already, 6-0. Fayetteville with an ace right there from number 13, sophomore Grayson Spresser. Excuse me. If Fayetteville can keep this up, this might be a quick last 2 sets, as Fayetteville might take this one 3-1.
It's super impressive so far. 6-1 now. Just too strong of a spike, which is almost not even a bad thing. Just a little, like, lack of aim there, whatever it is. Hitting error, though. 6-1. Volley Dogs with a strong lead. You got to wonder, how is Fayetteville going to keep this lead throughout the set? Because it's early, but we've seen teams come back from this.
Absolutely. Van Buren's looking a little better right now, but Fayetteville with a strong block here as one of the Doolittle twins hits it back over to Fayetteville. Another point for Fayetteville. Number 2, Amelia Watley, has an extremely strong spike there. She's played really well, but under the radar so far this game. I think she's a little bit of a dark horse for the Fayetteville team.
We've seen so far in this third set, Amelia Watley's actually scored 3 out of the 7 points for Fayetteville with those strong spikes, hitting them so hard that Van Buren can't even control where the ball goes anymore. Van Buren getting a much-needed point, 7-2 now. And Fayetteville looking strong so far. They can't give Van Buren any momentum, but they're probably not too worried because 1 point or 2 points compared to their 7 isn't that big of a difference, but you got to stay on your toes.
Absolutely. Strong spike from Rosanna Hicks right here. But Van Buren recovers out and off the scoreboard. Rosanna hits it, and it's over to Van Buren. This is one of those long volleys that we did not have in the second set, and I think that definitely hurt Van Buren as they take the point right here.
Yeah, Van Buren obviously staying with their starting lineup. They almost stayed with it the entire second set. Maybe just because it's a lack of trust or some players are injured, we don't know. But Van Buren did perform strong in the first set. They started performing stronger at the end of the second set. You got to wonder if Van Buren, if they're going to have a late start again, or if they can pick it up just in the middle before Fayetteville gets to 10 points, if they can catch up to them.
I'm not really sure that Van Buren's playing super good right now. Their communication seems to be off, and Rosanna Hicks with another strong spike as that sends it to 8-3 Fayetteville. I really like what I'm seeing from Rosanna right here in this third set. She's played really well.
You know, we're talking about how Van Buren might just not be in it, but it could be Fayetteville playing so well together, this synergy. You can tell that they're just naturally almost born to play together, playing so well. Barely hit out by Lainey Daniels on the serve there. But still, 8-4, you got to be feeling good about yourself. How do you keep your momentum here if you're Fayetteville, and how do you explain the synergy that they've had so far?
Well, their synergy is just getting to know each other. Absolutely, they've had their struggles in the past couple non-conference games, but as they get to know each other a little bit better, you know, some juniors that did not get some playing time over the strong team that Fayetteville had last year. I'm excited to see what they can put together the rest of this match.
We have Fayetteville against Van Buren, serving again, getting the points. It seems Van Buren's now winning these long volleys. We talked about how Fayetteville is super strong on these, but with Fayetteville playing a little bit more aggressive and Van Buren playing defensive, they've shortened the 7-1 lead to 8-6 now. So you gotta wonder, Van Buren, even though on the late start, is just, I mean, they've obviously playing really well together. Even on the point list to Fayetteville, 9-6 now.
Again, Rosanna Hicks with a strong serve. She's really been playing well, as I said. For Van Buren, I think that this is really not a bad spot to be in this third set after taking a hard loss in the second one. If you can keep it this close up until about the 20-point mark, Van Buren's still got a great chance in this set.
So Amelia Watley, or Jaden Weller's subbed in for Amelia Watley there. And a point to Fayetteville there. A little argument on the court. Van Buren thought they had it. Both refs thought they had it, or the ref on the outside thought Van Buren had it, but the ref on the inside, who had the better angle, told him that Fayetteville had the point. 10-6 now. That's got to be frustrating if you're Van Buren.
Van Buren's coach is up and very not happy with that. Van Buren does get a point right there. That will probably calm down Coach Reeves, but if the referee continues to call it Fayetteville's way, I'm a little scared of what the Van Buren coach might end up doing.
We saw Van Buren, though, obviously not letting the call upset them or just mess with them mentally, and they score a point, 10-7 now. A long set hit out by Fayetteville, giving the point to Van Buren. 10-8 now, Fayetteville. You know, Van Buren's played strong, and it seems that they've scored 7 points, sorry, to Fayetteville's 3. So if you're Fayetteville, a timeout's got to be coming soon from one of these teams. What do you tell your team?
Absolutely. I think the timeout's more about taking a breather than it is about how you're playing. Again, Van Buren turning on a more of aggressive look, and as has been the case throughout this whole match, the aggressive team seems to be winning so far.
Number 16, Zoe Morrison serving for Van Buren. Lainey Daniels, a good save there, just hits the net. Jaden Weller couldn't save it. Seems that she got to catch another ball there.
Yeah, 10-10 going into the first Fayetteville timeout. If I'm Fayetteville, I'm talking in there right now about calming down a little bit, maybe send in a couple subs. As you said, we haven't seen much from number 11, Perry Flanagan. She came in a little bit during the second set, but not any during the first or this third set. I'm interested to see how she uses some of her sophomores.
Perry did play super well in their last game, though they did lose just barely, and 3 out of the 4 sets in their last game. It was a close one, but Perry played super well. It seems that Fayetteville's not making any subs, it looks like, which is kind of not questionable, but it's a coach's decision. It's kind of strange seeing as how Van Buren's caught up 9 points to their 3.
She's sticking with those starters that had helped her throughout the second set, and I'm not going to guess Coach Phelan right now, but as Rosanna Hicks has another spike. Now we see 2 subs coming in, Perry Flanagan at number 11 and number 20, Sadie Thompson.
Sadie Thompson was one of those players last game that played super strong. We will see here, just hopefully that they can help this momentum. They did score a point there, but momentum's a huge thing, and it seems that Van Buren has still got it, but that might affect it a little bit. 12-10 now, a hitting error from Van Buren, and we were talking about Fayetteville making a ton of hitting errors at the beginning of the game, but now it seems that they've almost transferred that to Van Buren, with Fayetteville playing with a newfound confidence. What do you think?
Newfound confidence is in that out of the 6 players that are out there, 4 are underclassmen, including 3 sophomores, freshman Avery Redford, and the junior Lainey Daniels, and senior Jaden Weller. A much younger group than the junior heavy Van Buren group right now. I think it's really just not come down to a game of experience, but a game of talent right now.
You're absolutely right. Fayetteville barely saving that. The Van Buren coach is not happy with that at all. A good hit over. This is a long rally. Van Buren's been strong in this so far. A double block, though, giving Fayetteville the point. Well earned there. A good save by what looked like Lainey Daniels and number 11, Perry Flanagan. We just talked about her being super strong but not playing very much. Coach Reeves was not very happy with the call there. But you got to give it to Fayetteville keeping that ball alive. 14-10 now. Number 5, Van Buren, hitting it over. It seems
strong spike from number 13, Gracie Sprinzer. She's a sophomore, and it seems like they are really having effect as Van Buren calls a timeout. They look really gassed, and I'm interested to see if Ashley Reeves comes back in, as she's been on the bench for quite a bit now for Van Buren.
We have Fayetteville. We talked about them not subbing, and we questioned it a little bit, but it seems that whatever coach has told them has just lit a fire inside of them. So Coach Reeves has to do that now. So if you're Coach Reeves, what are you telling your team?
You're telling them don't worry about the referees, as I know in away games that can get to you, but as long as you stay strong and just have a more aggressive approach, Van Buren's still very much in this third set.
Yeah, 15-10, definitely not a huge game, nothing to be super confident about. We've seen teams come back from almost 10 points before and win sets. So Fayetteville's got to stay on their toes here. Van Buren, they've got to stay in this game. If they give up now, they're not going to win this fourth set going into it. And it almost won't be like enough to play against Fayetteville again in the future.
Absolutely. This third set is very critical, like we said at the beginning, as Fayetteville adds on another point. It looks like Sadie Thompson is going back out to serve, number 20 for Fayetteville, and she's been really strong so far for them. And it looks like Van Buren does not have an answer so far.
Yeah, Sadie Thompson didn't play very much in the first two sets, but you gotta wonder, we gotta trust the coach for Fayetteville to make these strong, smart substitutions, saving some of their better players for the second half and having the starters rest just a little bit. We see Lainey Daniels, the libero, has been playing a ton, but for Van Buren, Ashley Reeves has been able to get a break a little bit, and it might affect them in the future. But Lainey Daniels, we saw, stayed up the strong pace she had at the beginning of the game until the end of the game last week.
Absolutely. 17-11 right now, Fayetteville, as Van Buren gets the serve. I'd really like to see a couple points from Van Buren if they're going to get back in this, and if that doesn't end up being the case, it's going to be very dangerous for them to come back, because it looks like Fayetteville's really having a good time out there.
Fayetteville pulling ahead even more, 18-11, and Van Buren had tied it up, 10-10, and Van Buren scored 1 point to Volleyball 8. Yeah. You gotta wonder, if you're on the team starting right now on the court, what are you thinking? You've got to be frustrated at this point.
Absolutely. As we see Ashley Reeves, the lapel, come back in, she will be serving for Van Buren, and I'm excited to see the spark that she brings to this team, as I've seen that Van Buren struggled a little bit on defense recently, and she's a strong defensive presence.
Yeah, exactly. Number 11, a strong spike outside, though. Perry Flanagan hits it strong. She was super strong last game. Even though they lost, it almost didn't affect her, it seems, this game. She's playing at what looks like even stronger than before, physically and mentally. Van Buren getting another point there. 18-14 now, Fayetteville. That's 4 points in a row for Fayetteville. You cannot let this Van Buren team gain too much momentum, or you're going to lose this 8-point lead that you had just almost 3 minutes ago.
You're absolutely right. I really like what Lainey Daniels doing right now. She's really playing good defense, as we've said. She's really talented in that, but also passes and setting up has helped. As Fayetteville gets another point, as Ariana Walter and Amelia Watley are at the net blocking that from Van Buren.
Yeah, that was really well played there by Fayetteville. We saw in the last game how, just without communication, they were able to put up double blocks or single blocks and a triple block at one point, and just to play so well defensively, just putting those points down. And obviously Van Buren wasn't ready for it that time. Barely getting over the net there, though. The libero for Van Buren saving it. Hit over to the Fayetteville side, number 13 into the spike of number 2. The libero again for Van Buren saving that. Number 5 hitting that just over the net. Number 6 with a big spike through the gap.
These long volleys usually go to Van Buren, as a net violation gives them the point. I saw that the Doolittle sisters were having really strong spikes, both of them 2 apiece that set. I'd say that they were really the key factor in that set, that point win.
Yeah, they were. These long rallies, we've seen Fayetteville won a lot last game. It seems that Van Buren's been on top of it this game. It's been most of their points so far in this third set. A strong spike just through the block of number 2 on Van Buren, but they save it somehow. Another spike into number 7 on Van Buren. They're able to predict these spikes. Barely inside. A point for Van Buren, 16-19. Van Buren has scored 5 points compared to Fayetteville's 1 here. What do you say to your team if you're Fayetteville? You both got 1 timeout left. You're either going to choose to use it here soon or use it later in the game when you're both almost at 20 points. Again,
long volleys are hurting Fayetteville, as a short one there it only goes across twice. I'd say for Fayetteville, subbing Rosanna Hicks back in is really going to help get a little bit more of aggressive feel. And like I've said all game, it's really going to come down to who's got the most talent in the aggressive field. Yeah,
we see Lainey Daniels, after scoring that point, she almost says finally to her team, as a halfway way, but it was almost, and we score another 20-17. Fayetteville has kept this lead all through the second set, or all the third set, sorry, except for one time where they tied it up. 21-17, a big spike there. Subs come in, Avery Redfern subbing for number 5, Carly Unra, or my bad, Claire Cooper. Avery Redfern has looked strong so far. She has been getting more rest this game instead of last week, which has been pretty strong. A miss serve or serving error there by Lainey Daniels. She's not serving as strong as she did last game, but she's definitely still one of the stronger players. She has barely been subbed out. Almost, I think, 2 minutes of rest here through all 3 sets. A serving error by Van Buren.
Yeah.
By Van Buren, it's 2 in a row. It's 2 in a row, just points-wise. Volley Dogs 22, Van Buren 18. Volley Dogs again have kept the lead the entire time here. Jaden Weller, she served a lot during the second set and first set. A big serve, good serve there. Number 7 passing it up to 18, spiked, but outside 23-18, Volley Dogs. Van Buren not calling a timeout, 23-18. You gotta wonder, are you saving? You gotta trust your team to come back from this 5-point deficit when Fayetteville needs to score 2? Or do you call timeout if Fayetteville scores 1 more?
If I'm Van Buren, I need a timeout right now. As they get another point, it's still a 4-point game right now, and I just don't see Van Buren coming back from this if they don't start doing something just completely different than what they've been doing the whole set.
Yeah, Van Buren 19-23, Volley Dogs winning. Again, a strong serve hit outside onto the bench. Couldn't save that one. Van Buren gets another point, 23-20. It's almost like Van Buren, without their coach saying anything, has a new fire inside him so far. 23-20 again. Van Buren serving. Number 16 there, Zoe Morrison, has served a lot tonight. Ariana Hicks get her spike block there. Or sorry, Rosanna Hicks. Another spike, saved by Lainey Daniels.
Right here, this is a long volley.
Oh, just barely tapped out. Fayetteville winning that one. Now you gotta wonder, is Van Buren's coach gonna call a timeout here or not? 24-20, set point here for the Volley Dogs. Van Buren needs a big comeback if they reach 24 points. It's whoever wins by 2, so 4 points could give you a chance at this win.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Van Buren, a really interesting setup this past serve. I'm interested to see if they can take this set, but it looks like they won't, and Fayetteville will take this set. Up 2-1 now.
I caught up all that time.
Yeah, that was
fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
25-20, Volley Dogs winning 2 sets in a row. We're going on the 4th set here in just a couple minutes. You gotta wonder, if you're Van Buren, your team has struggled these past 2 sets. They've had late starts, and they've had almost, I wouldn't say lazy, but struggling finishes. If you're Van Buren's coach, you got to tell your team something and something fast to change it. What are you going to tell them?
I feel like Van Buren's really, obviously, is only 4 sets. The last set we'll have here is really playing for a tie. And to come into Fayetteville for Van Buren, a really talented team. I feel like it'll be really a win for them if they can take this last set. But if I'm Fayetteville, you got to keep the fire going. And if taking this set will really help them throughout the whole conference season.
Yeah, Fayetteville looking super strong here, showing why they've been state champs for 3 straight years. Van Buren, though, has played strong against them. Fayetteville, a strong team. We see Van Buren, their coaches, they're not letting them sit down. They're letting the coaches trying to spark as much fire as he can into this team. Van Buren looking serious, knowing how serious this game is. Fayetteville, knowing how important just a couple minutes of rest is, having their entire team sit down, whether it be on the floor, on seats. Coach is still talking to them. They've got to spark this fire. Coach has got to correct as many mistakes as possible in this minute 40. If you're Fayetteville, what are you telling your team?
Fayetteville, you just got to keep being aggressive. It's you're only going to win this if you keep short volleys. As we saw, I believe 9 of the 13 long volleys ended up going to Van Buren. It's just it's just not going to work if you keep hitting the ball across to the other side, because Van Buren's really talented in that. But again, if you can keep it short, Fayetteville's really going to have a great chance to pull out a victory here.
Yeah, 9 of the 13 volleys did go to Van Buren there, but we saw the last 4 went to Fayetteville every time. We see one of the students almost trying to take a nap here.
That student is Martin Mills. He is an absolute character. He is probably not actually taking a nap, and I'm not really sure what he was doing over there.
We have, again, the student section of Fayetteville is so lively.
That looks like the
Especially
freshman volleyball team. I believe that they won today in the one of the back gyms here at Fayetteville, but I'm not positive about that. If you want to click out of this broadcast on the FHS Bulldog app and check that for yourselves, you're absolutely welcome to.
Seems that Avery Redfern was going to start, but the coach decided to change her mind last second here. As the last set of this game starts soon, we have, again, Lainey Daniels starting, Ariana Walter starting. We have number 13, Grayson Spresser, who started almost every set. Sadie Thompson, who played extremely well in that last set. And then number 2, Amelia Watley, who's played a lot this game. What do you think if you're Fayetteville, especially scoring that first point off of a serving error going into this last set?
They've stacked 4 in the backcourt as Fayetteville's got 4 on defense. I think they realize that Van Buren's going to have to be a little bit more aggressive to win this, and I think they're preparing for it.
A strong spike there out of number 4, Ariana Walter. That was impressive, showing the strength just of this Fayetteville team. We've seen it all game, but especially in these last 2, especially last set and this set so far. 1-1 Van Buren, or 1-1 tied game, sorry. Just a soft hit over there. Lady Daniels hitting that. A strong hit out of Rosanna Hicks, but Van Buren saves it. Hit out of number 13.
A long volley here.
Ariana Walter, long volley. We got to see which team has made improvements in this set. Barely over the double block. You almost got to think that wasn't even an error by Fayetteville. That was just a great hit by Van Buren.
Again, Van Buren winning long sets. A great spike from Rosanna Hicks earlier in that point, but just not enough, as Van Buren really has shown a little bit more fire as they make a serving error and still tied up 2-2.
Van Buren, or Fayetteville, going for an early sub. Ariana Walter has been subbed out by Avery Redfern, the freshman, who's played a lot so far this game. 2-2 Fayetteville. Both of Fayetteville's points have been on serving errors, so you got to wonder if, never mind, a double block. Avery Redfern and Rosanna Hicks there going up for that, hitting that strong, nailing that down on that block there. You got to wonder, if you're Van Buren, what can you do to stop that from happening again?
You got to start off stronger with a better pass. I feel like they were a little too far out on the corner, but Rosanna made a really good play, and sometimes that's just difficult to play against.
We saw Lainey Daniels making a great serve, acing that. We talked about her playing so well offensively and defensively. She hasn't gotten to serve much this game, but seeing there, you got to see it. Van Buren taking a super early timeout, though. What are you telling your team, knowing that you can't let Fayetteville get this early of a lead?
It's still really a close game. I'm looking, if I'm Van Buren, to keep it close up until the end, because usually you see long volleys at the end of a game if it's really close, and Van Buren's really been killing it tonight in those long volleys.
Yeah, 22 seconds here until we come in. Never mind. Coach says he's ready for his team to go in. Fayetteville serve. Lainey Daniels serving it again. Strong serve last time. She aced it, actually. A big serve there. A strong spike into number 6 on Fayetteville. Avery Redfern just tapping it over. But they
looks like she had a net violation. I'm not really sure what that was, but Van Buren does get that point.
4-3 Volley Dogs. Van Buren has kept it close so far, but we've seen that almost in every set except for the last one. And Fayetteville or Van Buren has come out on top really quick after 5 points. Here we have number 13 saving it just there. Number 2 hitting it over. 8 passes it up. Number 7 hits it to the middle. Just a free ball over there. Number 6.
See a strong spike from Rosanna Hicks as that gets them the point.
Getting it done again. She's definitely proving herself to be almost the offensive star for this Fayetteville team. What do you think of her performance so far in this game?
Absolutely, really strong through these last 3 sets. I'm surprised that she hasn't run out of gas, but she really hasn't, and she's playing really well.
Yeah, one thing we haven't talked about of this Fayetteville team is their stamina. They have kept up the same pace the entire time. Just aggressive, fast pace. They're not letting Van Buren have a break. 6-3 now. How do you think the coach for Fayetteville keeps up this momentum?
It's important. I really don't think it's anything to do with the coaching or Fayetteville, although Coach Phelan has done a wonderful job of subbing. Fayetteville as a group has just really blended well together, and it's really helping them as the lowerclassmen and upperclassmen are really just getting along.
Yeah, we see here, even though the serve is just about to come, they're laughing about this game. A strong spike there by the freshman Avery Redfern. A good setup from the senior Jaden Wellett. And we were just talking about how well Avery Redfern has mixed in with the seniors. You couldn't even tell if we didn't tell you she was a freshman. I would assume she was a senior if I didn't know her personally. She's been so strong so far in this game. A strong spike, playing so well defensively and offensively. Just a serve there by number 20, Sadie Thompson. Lenny Daniels saving that one. Jaden Weller. A hitting error there. Sadie Thompson has performed strong, as you just mentioned. We haven't talked about her much. She hasn't played a ton so far in this game. She played a lot last game. But we see here the point going to Van Buren. It's a 2-point lead from the Volley Dogs. If Volley Dogs keep this lead until the very end, what do you think happens?
Oh, well, you know, if they win this set, they win the whole match. So I think that's important if they keep this lead. Another point there for Fayetteville, a strong spike, and Avery Redford's being subbed out for senior Claire Cooper. She seems to be a fan favorite, as the student section is very excited to see her come back in.
Seems that Lainey Daniels also getting some well-deserved rest. Carly Unra, one of the few seniors on this team, is subbing in for her. We have number 5, Claire Cooper, serving for Fayetteville. She has been one of the main servers for the team, and you can definitely see why. She's so very strong. Jaden Weller couldn't save that one, though. Barely out of her hands. 8-6, Volley Dogs, 2-point lead. It seems that they can't get ahead of 2 points, but they also can't lose 2 points so far at this almost middle of the set.
Absolutely. Van Buren has also subbed back in Ashley Reeves, who has really had a strong game but was nowhere to be found in the 3rd set. Let's see if she stays in a little longer and has much more of effect, as she gets a great serve right there to give Van Buren another point.
Yeah, number 6, Carly Unra, just making a small hitting error there, losing the 2-point lead. 8-7 Volley Dogs. 0-0, Ashley Reeves barely serves it outside. It'll be a point for the Volley Dogs. That is 4 points now that the Volley Dogs have gained from serving errors like that. If you're Van Buren, you got to fix that and fast, because, again, if you mess up that serve, you give them a point and they get to serve on you. A good double block there. They can't just save it. Fayetteville will get the point there. 10-7. They went to a 11-point lead, and they've just scored 3 points in a row there.
Absolutely. Fayetteville's front line is literally looking strong. Ariana Walters is putting up a great 4th set, and if they can keep this up, there's no way that Van Buren can come back from this.
Yeah, Fayetteville performing well. We have Van Buren, a strong spike out of Ariana Walter. She and Rosanna Hicks have been definitely the strongest offensive players on this team so far in this game. They've each got easily over 10 points on them. And you got to wonder, if you're Van Buren, you haven't done anything to them this entire game. You got to change something fast. What do you do?
If you're Van Buren, you have to get these long sets. As we're watching a long set right now, the last 4 have been short, and this one was long, and Van Buren takes this one as it's 11-8 right now.
Yeah, Fayetteville's performed strong in these short volleys. We saw that out of Bentonville West last week, and they did win the game. But I mean, Van Buren, if they can draw out sets like this instead of letting something like that where Ariana Walter gets another spike and scores another point for Fayetteville. That's another timeout for Van Buren. No, it's not. I swear I heard someone say timeout there. Number 19 for Fayetteville. Ariel Higginbottom serving. We haven't seen her out of the game actually until now. Serving a strong serve, though.
We did see her in the first set, but I don't think she's made an appearance in the second and third, and this is her first back here in the fourth set.
All right. Ashley Reeves definitely proved that she is the defensive specialist on her team for a reason. Once again, if you are in the alternate colored jersey, you are the libero, which means you are the defensive specialist. She definitely proved it right there, hitting a strong pass up to her teammate for the set on the outside for the spike that did gain from the point. A strong spike that Ariana hits into the double block, but it bounced. She hits it so hard that they can't block this ball or else it goes out for them. And it gives another point to Fayetteville, which will grant them 12-10 here for the Volley Dogs.
Absolutely. Still a close game, but I feel like Van Buren needs to make a little bit of a push if they want to continue to improve in this set and end up tying this game, as they're already down 2-1 Fayetteville.
Yeah, 13-10 now, Volley Dogs. It seems that we did have a scoring error there. It was 13-9 there, and Van Buren just scored another point, so making it 13-10. Van Buren will serve number 8, Madeline Doolittle. She's part of the Doolittle twins, as we call them. They've been super strong so far. There's always at least one of them playing. A strong serve over. Out, though. That's another point for Volley Dogs. That's the 5th point now that the Volley Dogs have scored off of serving errors. Again, you got to fix that as Van Buren. If you're their coach, what do you tell them?
Absolutely. You know, serving errors are what killed them this set. They really haven't had that many, but as fatigue begins to set in, and Van Buren's just not going to be able to win this if they continue to make mistakes like that.
Yeah. Van Buren actually hitting that in, 14-11 now.
I didn't think that was it, actually. It must have been something else.
That was a big point for Van Buren. They got to gain their momentum. It looks like number 16, Zoe Morrison, is serving there. Lainey Daniels saving that one to Jaden Weller, number 13, hitting that over. Out, though. It's another point for Van Buren, 14-12. If Van Buren makes this comeback, this will be huge for them, and they can potentially tie this game.
It'll be huge if Van Buren can put a couple points up right now, because the way Fayetteville's been playing, they've been playing really well in the. Oh, good hit there by number 13, Grayson Spresser, as we seem to be going into a long volley, but Fayetteville wins this point as Van Buren hits it out.
We're going to talk about what a save that number 13, or not 13, number 3, Jaden Weller made in that set. Number 13 making a great hit as it went outside, barely staying in there. I mean, that was definitely a point that Fayetteville did not deserve at first, but they earned that right
Absolutely.
there. 15-12, a strong serve by number 20, Sadie Thompson. Again, she probably deserved that. A net
Looks
violation.
like a net violation, yeah.
A point for Van Buren, 15-13 now with the 4th set, the final set. Fayetteville wins this, they win the game. Van Buren wins the set, they tie it.
This is really a point for Fayetteville that they need to push through. If they're 10 points off from ending this match, and if they can't pull that off, then it would be tough to see a tie go up here for the
Avery Redford hitting a strong spike there and then goes up for the fake. It hits her forehead, unfortunately. The long volley again goes to Van Buren. They've been a lot more consistent on keeping those long volleys alive and winning those in the long run. 15-14 now. This is the closest we've had this lead from the Volley Dogs. A serving error again. That's their 7th point that the Volley Dogs have earned. That's almost half of their points off of serving errors. If Van Buren doesn't make those serving errors, potentially you got a 14-7 lead here.
Absolutely. I really think that getting that serve back right there was important for Fayetteville as Claire Cooper begins to serve again. It looks like it's out, and the Fayetteville point, that's huge right there as the lead is pushed to 3, but also Claire Cooper gets to keep serving.
Yeah, 17-14, Claire Cooper has shown how she's so deadly with the serve. Lainey Daniels subbing back in, I believe, for Avery Redfern. A strong serve by Claire Cooper, set up to the middle, to the outside. A strong spike into the double block is outside. The point will go to Van Buren. 17-15. You got to wonder, Van Buren's been keeping up with Fayetteville, but not catching up. That's super important. They got to catch up fast if they're going to do anything about it. They cannot let Fayetteville win this set or they lose this match, and that'll be horrible for Van Buren, being such a consistent team. We talked a lot about that. A strong spike by Ariana Walter, but the double block does get it down. Number 2 hitting it over, blocked by Ariana Walter, showing how strong she is offensively and defensively. Another block for Ariana Walter. That's 3 in a row. Tapped over into the block, hit over again. It's a long volley. We got to see if Van Buren can win this. They've won most of them. Another block by Ariana Walter. That's 4 in this one set, or volley, sorry. A strong spike. Hit to number 5. Lainey Daniels showing why she's the defensive specialist there with a strong dig. Number 6 hit out. That is Fayetteville's point. Such a long volley. It's got to be a good one to win. 18-15 now. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. That was all Ariana Walter right there. She had 4 blocks, as you said, and a couple spikes that really put Van Buren in a bind. That was a great set right there. A great point.
It almost seemed like in that volley that Fayetteville was in a bind for a little bit until Ariana Walter came in, block after block, saving their team almost. 19-15 now. Van Buren calls a timeout, which is huge for them. If you're Van Buren's coach, you got to tell your team something, and your team something now. Fayetteville needs 6 points to win it. What do you tell them?
Van Buren really looks gassed right now, but if I'm a coach, I need to just say, you guys are playing good, but I need a little bit more. And, like, you know, training all over the summer, this is what it leads up to, you know, coming through in a point where you really don't think you have much left in the tank. Van Buren needs to push through that, and if they can't, Fayetteville's going to take this one, and I'd say that it might go pretty quickly in this next 6 points.
You got to wonder at the beginning of the game here in those first 2 sets, where in that second set, they almost didn't sub at all. You got to wonder if that's affecting them now in the 4th set where the score's now 19-15 Fayetteville.
Absolutely. As Fayetteville serves right here, I'd be a little worried if I'm Van Buren because they haven't looked too good when Fayetteville was serving.
Yeah, Grayson Spresser with the serve there. Van Buren does return it with strength. Ariana Walter hits it out with the serve. They got smart there, knew that the angle wasn't right, so they didn't go for the block. Scores now 19-16 Volley Dogs. They've kept up the lead the entire 4th set, just as they did the 3rd, and you can definitely tell they won the 3rd. You might want to see if Van Buren can either pull off a comeback here, or if Fayetteville can win it, keeping the lead the entire time. Number 13, Grayson Spresser, that again saving that one. A point goes to Van Buren. That was 4 hits for Fayetteville. Volley Dogs 19, Van Buren 17. Van Buren has scored 3 points now, and Fayetteville has scored 0. You gotta wonder if Van Buren's focusing on the comeback. A tap over by Ariana Walter. They definitely thought she was going over the strong spike. It was a tap, they weren't ready for it. 2017, back at this 3-point lead. They've almost had the entire game. What are you thinking? Fayetteville calls, no they don't, sorry. If you're Van Buren, what are you telling your students?
You just gotta play defense. If you can play good defense, you can create long volleys, and that's what Van Buren's been succeeding on all night. But if you're Fayetteville, you just gotta stay aggressive, and like they just did, Rosanna Hicks with a strong spike. That's gonna win them the game right here. They can keep Ariana Walters and Rosanna Hicks spiking in an aggressive tone.
We've definitely seen her super strong offensively, along with Ariana Walter. Both of them out right now. They're definitely going for an aggressive push. Like that, the double block going out, but you can definitely tell the synergy they have, both being juniors, I believe. Yes, both being juniors. You gotta wonder if, because Rosanna Hicks and Ariana Walters play so well aggressively together, if they can break through this Van Buren defense that they've put up so far.
Oh, great save by Lainey Daniels, but number 13, Grayson Spresser, struggles to keep that one in as she, I believe, opened up her palms, and I'm not really a volleyball expert, but usually that doesn't work well.
21-19, Fayetteville's kept up this 3-point lead so far. It's 2 points now. Ariana Hicks with a strong hit over, just barely tipped over by number 2 on Van Buren, saved though by number 13. hit to the libero on Van Buren's side. Strong spike over. Out though. 22-19 Fayetteville. If you score 3 more points, you win. Van Buren's got to score 3 points to tie it. You've got to wonder what's going to happen if they don't do anything right now. Lainey Daniels serving. Again, she served a lot so far in this fourth set, being super accurate so far. The libero on their team hitting it out, though. A strong hit over, set into the middle, going into the outside. Rosanna Hicks with a strong spike, 23-19. 2 points left to win it. Van Buren, unfortunately, having 0 timeouts, can't call anything to help this team out. It's all the team is all on their own there. The coach not really being able to help out, especially with this home crowd being so loud. You can't hardly hear the coach here. A strong serve by Lanny Daniels again. A strong serve over. They did save it, barely making it over. That was amazing.
That was impressive.
A tap over. They save it. Number 19 there. A strong hit just in the net by Rosanna Hicks. We've seen that. Just the ball was slightly in front of her. She couldn't get it in. You got to wonder, the save that they just made proves how well this team has played so far.
They absolutely want to win this, and as it's 23-20 right now, Van Buren's got to make a couple huge plays to even put themselves back in contention.
Yeah, they've played back and forth points here, but Fayetteville's just scored slightly more. Avery Redford with a huge, just slight tap over, 24-20. Fayetteville needs 1 point to win it. Van Buren's got to make it to 24 just to tie it and go for a 2-point lead to win it. You gotta wonder, with 0 timeouts, the team being on their own, what is going through your head?
Well, you've got one of your best servers going through, Jaden Weller, as she puts that in. But number 2, Alex Dupree, the senior for Van Buren, makes a strong spike, and they get the point and the serve back, which is huge for them.
So 24-21, 1 point for the Volley Dogs to win it. You need 3 points to tie it and go for the 2-point winning game. Good set to the outside. Rosanna Hicks almost getting the game-winning spike there. A strong spike over. Number 13 saves it. Jaden Weller hits it to Rosanna again. That was almost their point. Another long volley. You've seen Fayetteville being behind in these in the entire game. There was almost 4 hits there. Avery Redford saving that one. A strong hit from number 2. It's another point to Van Buren, 24-22.
That was an extremely competitive set right there. 24-22 going into the timeout. I'm excited to see what everybody comes out with. This game could go on a little longer.
Yeah, Van Buren almost gets their own timeout here because Fayetteville called it. You gotta wonder if this is what Van Buren's coach wanted so much, even though Van Buren's played so well so far. Fayetteville did need to make up a couple things. Definitely they don't want the Van Buren come back and taking the lead after they've kept the lead the entire time. 2 points to tie and go for a 2-point lead. Fayetteville needs 1 point. If they can go 2-1 here, they could potentially win it. But Fayetteville's got to score 1 point. And they don't have the serve, though. That's a big thing. If they don't have the serve,
absolutely. Van Buren's been successful when they have the serve, and all it takes is 1 point for Fayetteville, but 2 points for Van Buren to even make it a competition right now.
A strong serve into the net. No, that's the point for Fayetteville. It was a double block outside. That will be it. Fayetteville wins it 3-1, 25-22, the score in the final set. I'm your host, Braxton Moline, with my co-host,
Tanner Wade, and we appreciate you guys joining us. And until next time, thank you for watching.
We want to thank everybody for attending tonight's matchup. Don't forget, your Volley Dogs will be on the road this weekend as they travel to Tulsa to participate in the Bishop Kelly Tournament. Then they'll be right back in action Tuesday night, September 11th, as they travel to Bentonville to take on the Lady Tigers. And then the Battle of the Bulldogs, Thursday night, the 13th.